So it's been said that this rape gang inquiry thing, that the Isle of Wight is one of the places where this sort of thing has been going on. And then today on Facebook, there's been a lot of people saying stuff like it's just made up and it's not true, and that this politician guy Lau is just like sensationalizing it and all the rest of it. And that there's other people saying, no, this is pedo island, there used to be pedophile prison here, a lot of people got out and stayed here. There's often cases in the local courts to do with people with serious crimes against children, or like having lots of indecent images and just getting very, very lenient sentences, and people complaining about it, but never really sort of like, well, I've never seen anyone say anything like, you can go to the Attorney General and question a lenient sentence, but then I just found out about that recently, so maybe people don't know. Overall, I just think there's a massive problem going on in the UK, and it's not just black people, it's not just Islamic people, it's not just Pakistani rape gangs or whatever. It's just the whole fear and intimidation, controlling, like the spirit of malice and controlling other people, and fear and greed, and whatever you want to call it. But it isn't just men, it isn't just women, it's kind of common knowledge that there's really bad things going on in institutions, and there's this fear, you got to do what you got to do, otherwise like bad things might happen to your children, or you might end up homeless, or you'll just be in the shit. You got to go to work, you got to pay your taxes, you got to just carry on, do what you got to do. And I think there's a lot of people that are involved as part of their work in stuff that they don't care to really think about very deeply, about how it might really be affecting people. So over 2 years ago, my kid was taken out of her bedroom. This flat right here had a knock at the door. It was two women, never met before. Didn't want to let them in. They weren't making sense. And they called the police. The police forced entry. They came in, they stayed about 5 hours, and they took my kid. And now 2 years and however many months later, this kid's still not back. So where's the kid? The kid is in a children's home in the main town of this island, and either starting tonight or tomorrow night there's a gigantic music festival, and people have been arriving today. I'm not sure if it starts tonight or if it's tomorrow, but I think the schools are finished, for the long weekend. And where the children's home is right there on the site. Now this year I read there's 20,000 more people than last year. It's completely sold out. There's even just like massive traffic of lorries 18 hours a day doing the sewage. It's just a massive thing. Now my kid's got special needs. Small children's home on site in the park, and I don't know about any of the other kids, but my kid is held there, and I haven't given permission for that. And all the kids that are there have got special needs, so it's like it's going to be more likely that really they are quite sensitive to disturbances. I mean, maybe they all just love it. They just love it, but I very much doubt it. It's building the site and deconstructing the site, and then a massive festival is a lot of noise, and like people just camping everywhere, and then they're going to be camping like right around this place because people just, I mean, I've never been to it, but I can just imagine thousands and thousands and thousands of people. They're all going to just try and get what they can and go where they can. I don't know what security is like, but generally there's going to be just so many people. It's just unbelievable, and I'm not happy about my kid being there, and I would never really take it there, so I'm not happy about that at all. And today, looking on Facebook at these people that they just don't want to believe that anything like this could be happening, it's strange because no one knows what's happening in someone else's life, but the whole system, any part of the system that is set up to control other people is there's something wrong with it. Communicating threats is supposed to not be what public servants do, but they do it. And forcing entry into people's homes when there's not an emergency is not what they're supposed to be doing, like the police, but they do it. In this last year, I've been arrested 3 or 4 times without warrant, without there being a crime, or without there being a danger to anyone in the community. I've been detained 52 hours. I've been searched in the street. I was put in prison for 5 weeks. I've been convicted of kidnapping my kid when actually some other people kidnapped my kid. You know what I mean? It's like I even had videos showing that I showed to the jury. I've been dealing with lots of courts and sending bills and doing various things and getting into a lot of debt, trying to survive, trying to keep my head together. But basically, it's been almost like I became a leper of society. Now it's an island community, so it's maybe a bit different to like a big city, People can still usually place each other somehow in their little world of what they know, what this island is. If you get talking to someone you don't know that well, they'll try and place you and find out if they know someone who knows someone who some way connected with your world, It's always been like that. But the care sector is a big thing over here, a big contract, There's a lot of old people. It seems like all the kids are on some kind of fucking plan, a lot of free school dinners, kids get pupil premiums, so the schools get a top up for that. If the kids are in care, it like triples. There was a kid last year that was under a dole's order, like my daughter, and the local authority paid £29,000 a week for the unregistered placement, and this year they're 20 million in like short, So I think if any normal person tried to put in some costs to the local authority, saying that it was £29,000 a week for anything. I can't imagine that they'd pay it. So, like, what the hell is going on? It was for 4 months, and it was talked about in the Royal Courts of Justice. And to even get a dole's order on a kid is supposed to be very unusual and quite rare and exceptional. But this council seems to be doing it. Like, they've done it for my kid, and there's no evidence to support, like, this form that they've put through. It doesn't really make sense the way that they've done it, and it's the circuit judge that's okayed it, so I'm questioning it. But what I'm getting at is that a lot of the money that comes to this island is to do with government money and care. And, like, I'm 50, and just, I never really grew up that much knowing about my rights and stuff, but we used to think, oh, it's a free country and I got rights, and what did your last slave die of, and all this sort of thing. We had some sort of basic idea. But nowadays, after COVID, and I just see the younger people with their kids and that, they just don't seem to have the same idea of what the authorities are supposed to be, because it's all just gone silly, and for there to be so much fear, really, and control. Like, if you get involved in the family court system, one of the first things that becomes very obvious is that it's secret. Now, there's been moves to try to make it less secret, but not much, and it's still quite unknown to the majority of people how it works and what goes on. And it may seem like people that were involved in it are just complaining and minimalizing and, like, talking rubbish or something, the ones that do talk out. But a lot go to prison if they talk out. There's gagging orders, and there's a lot of communicated threats and coercive and controlling behaviour that goes on with it all, even down to, like, a forced representation, being made to go see psychologists and psychiatrists, being collared into doing parenting courses, and visiting your kids just when they say, and being messed around, and having a big lot of control and gaps in communication, and so much heartbreak involved in basically the tailoring off of contact with one's own kids. And then when you do get to see your kids in the contact centre, they just, like, type down absolutely everything that you do, and they won't, like, take your kid to the toilet, and it's like they're looking for faults, and it's not like you got a fair chance just to try and work with these people, or that it's the last resort that they would be taking you to court. It's not really like that. And this idea that people have is that they would never just break in and take your kid. That isn't my experience, and it isn't the experience of other people here who I know. So, and a lot of people that are talking on different groups on Facebook and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know about anyone else's life particularly, but I do think there's just so much fucking programming, and I've been through it. I've been through the public school system, I was even in a fucking Buddhist cult for 3 years full time. And then a good few years after that, sort of as a hanger on and keep going back. But completely cut that now. And I used to believe in karma, and reincarnation and all into the Buddhist stuff. But not now. And this big murder case that's just happened, only God knows what is true. Did those two guys or one of those guys kill that baby? It seems like it, But if you look into the pathologist, the Home Office pathologist, she has made some serious mistakes before. And there was a solicitor lady who was accused of killing her twins, who was imprisoned for a good long while and fought it with everything that she had. Heard about this story before. Apparently they throw hot water all over her, and she had a tough time in prison, baby killer. But she proved her case and she won. But it destroyed her life, and I think within 3 years she was dead, even when she got out. I think she may have helped another woman get out. But this pathologist came back on the scene even after she'd won and was trying to say, no, she really did do it, and this evidence is undisputable, and she wasn't involved in the first lot, but she was there to sort of. I was just looking at her career and some of her cases, and it looks like she has been very involved in the shaken baby syndrome stuff and the sudden death stuff, and jumping to conclusions in some high profile cases that sexual abuse has happened when other people are suggesting infection or other stuff. She's a pathologist, but she seems to be like a high up one, and I just don't trust agendas and things like that. But overall, what I'm trying to get at is just all the horribleness, this hatred, these paedophile, gay foster parents, and the council were wrong, or the birth parents were wrong. The birth parent woman was a murderer when she was a teenager, or this person's that, and we don't care about how they feel, and we think this and we think that. It's just so much emotion and noise and messiness. It's just like a massive fucking annoying distraction and mess. But who knows what the reasons are for what appears to be. Like, I don't read the Bible much, but I know a little bit about some of the stories. I hear about them, and I think there's a story in there about someone who's blind, and they say who sinned? Is it this man, this blind man, or was it his parents that sinned to cause him to be blind? Or like, who should we blame? Or is God punishing the offspring of the parents because of the parents' crimes? Or I don't know what the story is really, but like karma, like I used to believe in karma, and like my kid has got profound learning difficulties. And when we was in France, when she was a baby, I allowed her to have an injection, which I wasn't 100% sure about letting her have. And I felt very bullied into it and sort of browbeaten, and I just let her have it, and she had a very, very bad reaction. And now I'm wondering if some of her disabilities have been caused by what she had, Either way, she is how she appears to be right now, not that I've seen her for 2 years. regardless of what, who's to blame or what caused it. And also just like the whole situation, like the police coming in here, and it's, the law has been broken and the statutes weren't triggered properly, and the due process wasn't followed, and the social worker was newly qualified and hadn't been to the meeting before, and there was a student here, and there wasn't a senior officer to authorise the taking, and social services were just coming out with special measures they've been in for 10 years. There's a new director on the job for 10 days or something, whatever. And then however I try and get it sorted out, maybe there is some greater rhyme and reason for everything. It's like, I think in that Bible story it says, just for the glory of God to be seen or something. It's like, who cares what the reason is? Who cares what's happened? Who cares what anyone thinks or whoever's to blame? Everyone at any time has a choice to turn to something different, and we all got the spirit of God in us, and we all know what's wrong and right on some level. Maybe some people have got it on a different level to other people, but generally we're all part of something else. And there's all this safeguarding stuff, and there's all this stuff in the media about the rape gangs, and there's this big case at the moment, and there's all this immigration stuff, and there's all this angst because all the prices have gone up and everyone's got no money, and so people are, I can only imagine, not wanting to lose their jobs and keep their jobs if they've got a job, and just get on and just survive. This kind of like terror. I can only imagine the people who've got high overheads and a lot of stress and busy lives, and but blaming, assenting to ordinary appearance and blaming this people, that people, like even me, like blaming the judge or this other judge or the social workers or the police officers or whatever seems to be going on in my community, feeling a certain way or getting done in, focusing too intensely on paperwork and not doing my work, and getting really skint and being angry with the government and not claiming benefits when I run out of money, and getting into loads of debt and now suffering the consequences of that. And it's like, yeah, like a dream, like a horrible nightmare. You wake up and it's like, it's just a dream. Just blaming each other, So what if this murdered baby's mum killed someone when she was a teenager? I mean, it's pretty bad, but she's not a teenager now. And when she had the baby, she wasn't a teenager. So, why did they even take the kid off her? Why does anyone's kids get took off them? Why does anyone just go to work for minimum wage when they're involved in something that is controlling other people's kids? Why do people send their kids to school every day when they're so fucking miserable? Why do people do fucking anything? Or to get the money to fit in, to keep your head down? It's like, there's so much information available. It's not difficult to try to become more aware of the programming. We've all been through it. It's a heavy duty cosh going to school every fucking day. Or I don't know, I didn't go every day, but this programming through the schools is getting ridiculous now. A lot of people are like, what the fuck? But we've also been through it. A lot of people have been through public school system, which has affected how we see the world and what we think is as normal. But it's got weirder and weirder and weirder as time has gone on, I think, to the state that we've got now, and people are like, hang on a minute, what the fuck? Do we really want to be going there? And I'm just saying, how hard is it to actually just try and wake up a bit out of it? Like when I was going through the family court trial, it was so stressful. It was so horrible. Sometimes I'd wake up and it would be like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd hear this voice like, "Get up," you know. I'd get up and I'd be like, "Is it God?" You know, like, what? Right, so I'm up, but oh fuck it, I'm just gonna go back to sleep for an hour. I've got to get up soon. I've got to go and get the ferry. I've got to get to the court. There's no more I can do. You know, I was just out of my mind of it, even though I had a good idea that it wasn't how it all appeared, and it was quasi-court and it was fictional legal entities, although I didn't know what that term was at that point. You know, I knew that I was going to have to make another claim, and I was in the process of doing that. And in the end, I just lost it, you know, and I played their part beautifully and shouting my head off in the trial and everything. And it was hard to just keep my composure and to realize that I had a choice how to act rather than react, or to have like emotional prompts or compulsions and not follow them, you know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's very stressful. I'm very worried about my kid. The only thing that's getting me through at the moment is this verse. It says, "Not by my power, not by my might, but by my spirit." And I think this spirit is what we are, and it is in us, and it is powerful. And what appears to be going on is less powerful. Your storage is low, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be like the reality, but actually everything can change. And like the world is changing, and people are like kind of like realizing that, well, this is really changing and really big, and there's a lot of problems, and trying to understand it all and everything. But actually, you know, there's no going back. It's just always changing. And to try to like impose what we think is going to be, should be like for everyone else, that's just controlling everyone else. All we can do is control ourselves. If all the millions of people all want the world to be in a certain way, it's just going to be loads of noise and loads of fighting. So, you know, by my spirit, not by my power, not by my might. So I just wanted to say something, but I didn't really know what to say, so I thought I'd just say whatever came into my head. So I did.